When my sister learned the truth about our mom, she exclaimed wide-eyed. No savings and no house. Then what? Did mom really leave us nothing? That's a lie, the worst. I thought I'd inherit something. This is just unbelievable. You're the unbelievable one. It's always about money, money, money. So selfish. Even so, mom was looking forward to seeing you. The thought of our mom's feelings makes my chest tight with anguish. Such a shameless, foolish woman. I'm Casey. When I was 10 and my sister was 7, our parents divorced. Dad was always busy with work, neglecting the family, and mom ran out of patience. Since then, it's been just mom and us kids. After the divorce, she took us back to her parents' home. She worked multiple jobs tirelessly to raise us. And thanks to her, both my sister and I grew up well. Our grandparents have passed away, so now it's just mom and me living in our family home. My sister, a beautician living on a meager salary and a spendthrift, is always broke. She frequently comes over for dinner to save on food expenses. And wheedles pocket money from mom. Mom and I have suggested she move back home if it's so tough. But she stubbornly refuses, only rebelling more. Stop telling me to come back, Casey. Don't meddle in my life. Someone who's independent doesn't need to say that. Mom had to cut back on her jobs because full-time work was too much for her. You know her income has decreased. There's no pocket money left for you. Ah. I can't hear you. You're adults, stop fighting like this. Casey, maybe let her do what she wants a little more. See? Mom understands. But I'm not giving you any more pocket money. Ugh, that's going to be a problem. I won't be able to buy the limited edition cosmetics. Mom has set a limit of giving my sister $200 a month, and no more. I think that's already too lenient, but when mom says it's a mom's love, I can't argue much. I just wish my sister would become independent soon. One summer day, as usual, my sister came over after work. I'm home. What's for dinner? Welcome back. Casey made stir-fried vegetables. I don't like Casey's stir-fry. My sister sprawled where the air conditioner hit best. Tess, if you're going to lie there, help mom. She's folding laundry. Huh? Ugh, Casey, you're the worst. Reluctantly, my sister got up and lazily began folding a towel, muttering complaints under her breath. I can hear that, you know. Mom, I'll take some pocket money after I finish folding this. I was close to scolding her for thinking she deserved some money for helping when mom spoke up. I think I'll stop giving Tess pocket money. What? My sister's eyes widened in disbelief. I was shocked, too. Has our lenient mom finally decided to be strict? No way. I won't ask for money for helping, don't say such horrible things. I'll be in trouble without money from mom. Well, you're basically asking for it now. Casey, be quiet. Watching our exchange, mom looked on with a gentle smile. A complicated emotion visible in her eyes. What's going on? Not long ago, we got a notice from the city for a special health examination. So I went to the hospital. A chill ran down my spine. I held my breath without realizing. It turns out it's progressive cancer. Cancer. My sister's soft murmur reached me. Yes. It started with a blood test, then after more tests. They found lesions metastasized throughout my body. It wasn't just age making work hard, but the illness. Talking like it's someone else's problem. I turned off the stove and moved next to mom. She held both our hands. I'm thinking of trying chemotherapy, but honestly, I don't think I have much longer to live. Casey, when the time comes, it'll be a burden, but I'm sorry. Tess, I want you to be okay without relying on me, for money and food too. Mom. It's getting close, how do I come to terms with this when I'm not ready yet? While I was just sitting there in shock, my sister moved closer to Mom. Give me money while you're still alive. What? Her unexpected words left me speechless. What are you saying? If you're going to die anyway, you don't need money. Give it to me. I want cosmetics. To go to concerts, and someday open my own shop. I still have a long life ahead, unlike you. Tess. What kind of nerve do you have? I couldn't believe it. How could she say such things after hearing that story? I looked at Mom, expecting her to be hurt, but she was looking at my sister. With the same expression as before. My sister continued. Give me the startup capital for my shop now. By the time I open my shop, you won't be around to help anyway. So take care of the money at least. That's a good idea. It's because I'm your mom that I'll stop taking care of your finances. Don't say gross things like that. Tess. Enough. Apologize to Mom. I don't care. Casey, you take care of Mom. I just can't deal with taking care of sick people. My sister threw off our mom's hand and stormed out of the house with harsh footsteps. Ridiculous. This stupid woman. My shout filled the whole room. We've fought a million times, but I've never been this angry. What is up with her? Unbelievable. A demon wearing a human face, always about money. Casey, calm down. Mom squeezed my hand, but my anger didn't subside. 2 years have passed. Mom's condition has slowly worsened, and lately, she spends most of her days sleeping. When she is awake, she either hurts or looks dazed. She needs assistance even for small movements, and she's on a care diet. Taking care of her, I feel the end is near. Over these 2 years, I've tried to contact my sister multiple times. Initially, I tried not to think of her out of anger from that day. But I started to think maybe my sister was confused when she heard about Mom's cancer. Maybe she said things she didn't mean and couldn't back down. Maybe she really is worried about Mom. I want to believe that. With these thoughts growing stronger, I visited my sister's workplace once. However, she had quit without our knowledge and moved away. And I lost track of her whereabouts. Fortunately, I could still send her messages on Messenger and emails, and I did invite her to a trip while Mom was still relatively well. I informed her about Mom's deteriorating condition. And I even said I'd go out if she wanted to visit so she wouldn't feel uncomfortable around me. All unanswered. Maybe she changed her contact information. Mom worries about my sister too. Mom wishes she would show her face just once while she's still alive. That winter, I took leave from work to stay close to Mom. Mom fought hard but passed away at the young age of 62. My sister never showed her face. I was alone when Mom died. I was prepared, but it still hurt terribly. I found myself all alone. I was holding back tears at the funeral, and my relatives were really sweet to me. Casey, that must have been tough. It was hard to see your mom off, wasn't it? Hearing that almost made me cry. Our estranged dad was also among the attendees. It was Mom's wish to invite him. He sat quietly at the very back, not talking to anyone. I wonder if he plans to just sit there until the funeral starts. He should at least look at Mom. As I waited for the funeral to begin with mixed feelings, suddenly a high-pitched scream pierced the air. Mom. Ah. Tess. It was my sister. I had informed her of Mom's death. I don't know if she got the message through email, messenger, or the answering machine. But I was relieved she was here. Good. Now Mom and my sister can say their last goodbyes. My sister rushed to the coffin and clung to it. Mom. Why did you have to die? Casey. Why didn't you tell me anything? What? My sister glared at me sharply, then clung back to the coffin. What is she talking about? How cruel, Casey. You drove me out of the house, and Mom. You plan to hog the house and inheritance all to yourself, don't you? Tess, what are you talking about? I never drove you out. I've been telling you to come home. Wah! Mom. Mom. My sister interrupted me and started crying loudly. Relatives whispered amongst themselves. What's going on? It was Casey who drove me out, not letting me be there even in our parents' final moments. I planned to own my own shop. I wanted Mom to be there. Now this. Casey, you're planning to keep the house and inheritance to yourself. I won't let you. My sister's eye makeup was clearly smeared, but her eyes weren't wet. Her loud sobbing was just an act. The ruined makeup must have been to simulate tears. I have legal rights too. I won't let you have your way, Casey. I won't let you monopolize Mom's things. You've been misusing Mom's money all this time, haven't you? We'll settle this properly in front of everyone. Tess. That's when it dawned on me. My sister came over just to grab the inheritance from Mom. She's trying to turn the relatives against me, manipulating the situation in her favor. What is wrong with this girl? Ignoring everyone's concerns, living alone by force. She disappeared on her own without visiting Mom once. Anger boiling over. I shouted from the depths of my stomach. Don't be ridiculous. You are no longer a sister to me. How cruel. My sister dramatically covered her face with both hands. The relatives watched our exchange in tense silence. Only my sister's fake sobs could be heard. What a performance! Amid the tense atmosphere, it was our dad who spoke up. Stop it. Dad. Casey is being awful. My sister rushed to our dad and clung to him, portraying me as if I were a vile person. Dad gently loosened her grip and said quietly, Stop it, Tess. What you're doing is disgraceful. What? Dad, are you siding with Casey? Don't tell me you're conspiring with her to take Mom's inheritance. There is no inheritance from Mom. What? What do you mean there's no inheritance? That can't be. Mom always gave us money, and we have a house. Dad calmed my sister and took out his smartphone from his suit pocket. Mom left a message for you both. I'll play it, so watch closely. Dad held up the smartphone so we could all see. He tapped the screen, and there was Mom. I asked your dad to leave this message. Please show it to Casey and Tess after the funeral if Tess happens to come. When did she do this? I didn't know Mom and Dad had made this video. I stared at the screen as I walked over to my dad. The video was unmistakably Mom talking. Judging by her outfit and how worn she looked, it was probably made around this fall. To Casey. Thank you for taking care of me. I've caused you a lot of trouble and worry, sorry. I regret taking so much of your young time. Thank you for cherishing me without a single complaint. I hope you live a happy life from now on. Mom. I couldn't take my eyes off Mom in the video. Her expression was the kind smile I knew well. The tears I had been holding back started flowing. To Tess. Are you there? I'm worried because I can't contact you. I can no longer support you financially, so please live prudently. There's no savings left after medical and living expenses. Your sister is not your mom. So don't ask her for money. Stop shopping so much, eat properly, and stay healthy. My sister distorted her face upon hearing our mom's message. In this brief message, Mom overturned the narrative my sister had set up, portraying herself as the pitiable sister and me as the greedy one. I won't ask you sisters to join hands and struggle together. Just each of you find your own happiness. Take care of yourselves and stay healthy. It was a video less than 2 minutes long. Around this time last fall, Mom couldn't do without her painkillers. She must have strained herself to make this video. Even in her own pain, she wished for our happiness and health, which made it all the more painful and precious for me, and I couldn't stop crying. Tess. I've heard all about it from Mom. Casey and Mom tried to contact you many times. You ignored all their calls and didn't visit even once. Yet, you paint Casey as the bad guy. I think that's shameful. Quiet. Dad and I are strangers now. How many years do you think it's been since he and Mom divorced? It's audacious for him to suddenly show up acting like a dad. It seemed my sister had completely forgotten how she had clung to Dad just moments ago. She's polished her selfishness to a sheen. Ah. That's right. Even without money, there's the house. Let's sell it. Then we'll get some money, right? It seemed like my sister finally dropped the act and confessed she was at Mom's funeral just for the money. He was pretty bold about it, despite the disapproving glances from our family. You have no shame. Whatever. I pretended to be nice to get more out of it, but that was a waste. Still, there are laws about inheritance distribution, right? That means I'm bound to get something. Thank the law. This girl. Does she not realize how base what she's saying is? Wake up. I felt nothing but hatred for my sister as she laughed haughtily. That's the thing, Tess. Mom sold the house. What? She said she didn't want to burden Casey with money issues. So she sold the house and turned it into cash. Even if she couldn't work, the medical and living expenses still needed to be covered. What? No way. Mom didn't tell me that. My sister and I exclaimed at the same time. Indeed, Mom had kept me from worrying about money. But to think that the house I thought was our family home had long since been sold to someone else. What about the rent? Mom, you should have told us something so important. No savings and no house. Then what, did Mom really leave us nothing? That's the worst. I thought we'd get an inheritance. This is just unbelievable. The only thing unbelievable here is you. Always about money. Even someone like you, Mom wanted to see. But I'm busy. I don't have time or money to spend on caring for the sick. I'm trying to own my own beauty salon. Remember? I told you before. I found a good property and quit my job to start getting ready. My dream might come true. Isn't that great? I've worked hard for it. You plan to use Mom's inheritance as startup capital. No. I'm obviously going to get a bank loan. But I haven't been repaying my credit loan. So they won't agree right now. That's even worse, you fool. How can you run a store like that? Be quiet. Once I finish repaying the loan, they'll lend to me. That's why I need money. I need $5,000 just to cover the credit loan repayment. So just come up with that amount for now. I was astounded. Does this girl not understand the word planning? If her goal is to have a shop, shouldn't she have saved up some money to kick things off? She's clearly saved nothing, especially now that she's quit her job. What is she even doing? Hey! Give me the inheritance. I need Mom's help. Mom. Mom. Why did you have to die? Help me. Help me. My sister screamed in a near frenzy. Shedding real tears this time, regardless of the public eye. Our commotion caused the funeral to start a bit late, but no one complained. If anything, the relatives were sympathetically concerned about us. After the chaos, my sister became like an empty shell. She truly believed coming here would somehow make Mom take care of everything. Once she realized that was impossible, she stared vacantly into space, devoid of any energy to move. In her dazed state, it was decided that my sister would be taken in by our dad after the funeral. Dad now lives as a fisherman on a small island. It's a peaceful little island, with no hospitals or hairdressers, where he's moved to reflect on his years of neglecting family for work. He plans to have my sister help with his fishing and pay off her loan herself. I have to handle the aftermath of the funeral and various procedures, so I can't see her off. We said our goodbyes at the funeral parlor. While waiting for the taxi, Dad asked me a question. "What are you going to do now, Casey?" "Well, I need to sort through the belongings, and I have to move out too." "Why is that?" "Because that house is owned by someone else now, right? I don't know what's been happening with the rent or anything. I need to figure it out." "Oh, that. Don't worry about it. You can just stay there." "What?" "It's not as easy as he claims. I just wish he wouldn't say such thoughtless stuff." I frowned, and Dad casually added, "I bought that house." "What?" "I've been the owner of that house for the past 2 years." "What?" Dad chuckled at my surprise. 2 years ago, your mom contacted me asking to buy the house. She probably couldn't bring herself to ask her ex-husband for money outright. So we talked, and I bought the house. If a stranger had bought it, your mom and you might have been kicked out. I was worried you might end up without a place to live." Dad. It was unexpected. To think that my dad, who had little to do with us since the divorce, had been looking out for us like this. Feeling alone after Mom's passing. His parental care now touched me deeply. I wasn't alone. I still had someone who cared deeply for me. "I'm the landlord of that house. So you're free to live there as you like. But I mean, thank you for taking care of Mom. I think she was happy to have a daughter who was so dutiful." Just then, the taxi arrived. Dad and my sister got in and departed. Dad waved at me, and my sister was looking down. I watched the taxi carrying them drive away, then looked up at the clear winter sky. Somehow, I felt lighter. Maybe the hardships of the past 2 years felt rewarded by Mom's message and Dad's appreciation. I'll leave my sister's issues to Dad and focus on finding my own happiness. After all, that's what Mom would have wanted.